Hello and welcome to Her Matters. I am your host. My name is Chioma Omero.
Culture of silence. Again, silence, because if you even try to say, oh, he did this to me, she did this to me, people then say, where's your proof? Are you sure?
Now, what I've seen is parents are not talking to their daughters and their sons. They are not talking to them. So when
people now think that if someone in the medical profession or in healthcare or in that field carries out the process, it would be safer.
The other part of it is the way we structured our healthcare system to actually selectively, remove these patent vendors out of the entire health loop. We don't officially recognize them, but there's a significant role they have to play.
This has been an amazing season, the first season of Her Matters. I am so glad that we got this done. I've learned so much. This has been the ultimate learning experience. Now on this show, we're going to have a representative from WRTHY who's coming in to talk to us. So guys, don't go anywhere. This is our final sign-off for the season, because we'll see you next time, next season, okay? So don't go anywhere. Stick around. We'll be right back. So I am very excited for this final episode of Her Matters, because on the show today, listen, let me tell you, whenever you guys used to hear me say, we want to say thank you to our principal partners, WRTHY. Well, I have a portion of WRTHY here in the studio with me today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Fife, aka I call her Fife, because she's my girl. Fife for life, that's right. So, happy to see you, Fife. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Thank you. We're excited too. We can't wait. We can't wait for this to get out on all social media platforms.
Yes.
So everybody can see what's going on and see the work that we've been doing
Well
together.
done.
It's been a
Amazing
minute.
work.
Yes, and it's almost like a combination of all the things we've done, the small things, and here we are with an actual YouTube series called Her Matters.
Yes. No, but the truth is, like you said, right? It's a culmination of the, and don't say little. They're not little. Those things you've done are not little. It's a big deal.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Out here, just, representing for the woman them.
Yes,
You understand what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes,
Of
yes.
Nigeria.
Yes.
I mean, like, you're actually an inspiration for many, and one of them is me. So God bless you for the work that you do.
Thank you. So I wanted you to talk about just WRTHY as a whole, and how did this even start? Where did this come from? And even reaching out to me, because it was one of those, that's even how we met, literally. And it's been literally a connection since then. And we've sort of like been joined at the hip since then, because we're always sort of like, every time you guys take a step further, you keep us all informed, and this is where we're going next. And so I want you to just talk a little bit about that with WRTHY, what WRTHY's been doing, what WRTHY's about, just so that people know, when I say principal partners, that's why I say it.
No, but so as I was even saying a little bit earlier, right? Like with WRTHY is a social impact company that utilizes creative strategies, right, to create like widespread impact, right, in society. And what they've done is they've been able to get some funding from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to basically fund this project on gender equality and family planning, right? Essentially to help, the globally in general, right? Understand what's happening here. You know what I'm saying? To understand for people like the regular everyday people to also be able to understand the little, things that they can do to support themselves and where they can get the help when it comes to, gender equality issues or family planning issues. And as you've had many of the, people working in this space, the NGOs, the individuals, all over, the different episodes, right?
Yes.
They've come and they've spoken, in depth about, how. I have a lot of questions actually about this, because I wish I was here like a fly on the wall to just learn about all the different.
Girl, like, you know how like you think you know some things, and then you talk to an expert, and then you realize, oh, I don't know.
Exactly.
Or what I thought I knew is not what it is. So even like as I sat here with a lot of people and discussed a lot of things, I unlearned something.
Absolutely.
So it was literally like, okay.
And that's the point, right? That is the whole point.
Yeah.
So for me, the biggest issue is, well, not just for me, for Worthy, right, is using people like you, using your platform, right, to address a lot of these issues and then elevate them, right, amplify it and push it out with as much reach, right? How else are we going to be able to get, you know, the young women on the streets or even the young men, right, to really hear us and say, hey, gender-based violence is no.
Yes, and no,
no is
yes, no is
or
no.
hey, you can't just have kids if you don't actually have the, you know, the
Resources
economic,
to
the economic
to
resources
take care of
to
them.
take care. It's actually detrimental to you as an individual and to the rest of society. You know what I mean? Like, how do you explain that to someone who their religion tells them that you cannot use, you know, birth control because it's of the devil, or you're killing children, you're killing babies by using contraceptives? Or how do you tell, you know, the young woman who her great-great-grandmother, all her lineage have been cutting?
Yes.
How do you tell her that you need to stop that for your own daughter because it's actually detrimental to her health, to her future, right? And it's something that we can't. How do you do that, right? It's by using voices like yours, right? Being able to have these conversations. They will listen to you. But if a random person like the governor or the governor's wife or the doctor comes and says, they'll be like, hey, you have an agenda. Do you understand what I'm saying? But when you can have real conversations, when they know that, Chigirl, of course Chigirl always tells the truth. Chigirl has always been supporting, you know, young women. Oh, Chigirl has always been at the helm. I want to hear, oh, she's funny. Oh, that's my favorite company. Oh, she's saying that cotton is not, wait, so what is she saying? Hey, no, Chigirl. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Like, that's the whole point. The point is you leveraging your people like you, your platform, to essentially get access, right, to shifting mindsets of the everyday people. That is the goal. And honestly, like if you think about meditation, psychology, the things that shape people's minds is culture.
Yeah. Yes.
The things that change people's mindset is culture. It's music, it's entertainment. That is what shifts mindsets.
It's true.
Literally.
Yeah. We are prime witnesses of the power of media and the power of using people in entertainment. There are ways you can disseminate information. Some people are watching comedies or whether it be drama, whatever it is, film, TV, and those messages, we are seeing literally how the world is being built on what people have seen other people do, and they're repeating those things.
It's the narrative they see and hear that they follow. That's literally how humans are. So imagine flipping the script, and instead of the messaging being, oh, pick up a gun and just bust your cat.
Did she just say that?
I didn't just say that.
Did she just say, but did she just say that? Fifehan, no, she just didn't say that, but she did. I'm sorry. I apologize on her behalf. She didn't mean that. She didn't mean it. She didn't mean that.
No violence.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean.
Yes, there are other options.
There's other options,
Yeah.
like, you know, like, and it could also be like done in a gratifying way, so it doesn't feel like you're being talked at. Do you understand?
Right, so you'd rather be talked to.
You'll be talked to, carried along, make it more realistic.
Yes.
You know, I can
brought
relate.
up to speed, something clarified to you. You can see they find other ways to drive the point home, as opposed to knocking it into you.
Exactly.
Or force feeding you. It can be slowly, gradually, over a medium that you like.
Exactly.
Get the message.
Exactly.
Yeah, because there
and
are
it
a lot of
doesn't have
times.
to be, like you said, it could be subtle.
Yes.
Right? It could be, there's so many ways it could be done, but we have to intentionally do it. It cannot just be by the way. It has to be intentional. It has to be written into the scripts. It needs to be consciously done. And so that's really the goal of this project, is to use media essentially and entertainment, right? In all its forms, right? To help to spread, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is that the issues are in terms of how to curb them, where to get help, just changing the narrative around, a lot of the key misconceptions that we have about many of these issues, because most of the time it's misconception. Most of the time it's myth. It's a traditional a misconception that was remixed, over time.
And passed down.
And passed down, you know what I'm saying, generation.
Yeah.
So the wrong information was, so it's now, let's change that.
Yeah,
right?
and
Let's
get the right information.
Get the right information. It's not going to be easy,
Yeah.
but working with like people like you is essentially what, we're about. So my question to you though is, what has been the most, I would say, like mind-blowing thing in a good and in a bad way that you've heard over the course of your episode?
Watching, like doing, not watching, of course, after we get done, but when, I think with female genital mutilation, FGM, when I remember I was telling our guest on the show, and I said, I remember watching as a child, I remember watching a documentary, and I saw this old woman. There was a line of girls going into a little hut, and I don't know if it was a documentary or a film. I think it was a documentary, and they showed the woman open up her toolkit, whatever it was, and she had all these rusty metals, like literally rusty metals on her, like on the thing. And you see the girl go in, you hear her scream, and then after a little while, the girl comes out and they're carrying her, and she's going, and there's a ceremony surrounding all of this. And even as a child, as young as I was then, I was really young, I remember. And I always thought, I know that they circumcise boys, but
what's happening?
So almost like I had a fear that maybe this might happen to me. But then growing up, it didn't happen to me, but that stayed with me.
Oh, really?
And then I now found out that they're literally, I thought, and I used to think it was maybe like female genital mutilation meant, or circumcision meant maybe cutting off we can say those words on the show, clitoris.
Yes, the clitoris.
Yeah, so I thought that was what it was. But then I found out that there are 3 ways of female genital mutilation. They can cut off only the clitoris. They can cut off the clitoris and the labia minora, the little one. And then they can cut off the clitoris or the labia majora, that's the outer one. Or they cut off labia minora, majora, clitoris, and then sew you close out.
What do you mean, sew you close
Like they
out?
sew you, yeah, so they'll cut all that off and then stitch you.
So they'll close your vagina, basically.
Kinda.
What for?
I think a lot of people did that because of in their minds, promiscuity. They would say
Oh,
things
so that
like
they will now open it when they marry.
Maybe that because so you won't see how your daughter wouldn't be promiscuous, or stopping the chances of her becoming promiscuous. So that's part of one of the things it blew my mind just talking about it, and just and then the concept of, like I said, I was talking to someone and I said the concept of like culture versus common sense when it comes to having children and family planning, because we're not saying, and I'm not saying don't have many children.
Right.
I'm just saying if you are having many children, because there are people who have many children who are taking care of these children. They're not living.
Atiku has 30 children.
Okay, sorry.
But I'm just saying, he can take care of all 30.
Right, so you can take care of all your children, because now if you tell me children are wealth, children are gift, and your children are thriving and excelling, then I see that as a gift. But when your child is living, you're barely living hand to mouth, and you're giving birth to children who are now following in that same hand to mouth situation, or you're in the village where you're sending your children off to go and be somebody's house help or whatever, because they're only on the streets begging or doing other things.
And guess what? They're begging, and then you're pregnant and you have a baby in your hand.
Those kind of things, like the in between, like you're literally pregnant, but the child you had before is still breastfeeding. And I don't mean standing up to breastfeed. I mean small. I mean
child. Like in your hand.
Yeah, in your arms. But so when you look at those kind of scenarios, and then in a country like ours, where unfortunately you say that every child born into every citizen is a ward of the state. Every citizen is to be taken care of by the state. What do you mean taken care of? It's not happening.
It doesn't happen. There's no government support.
So so even a country like China, I'm sure they take care of their citizens.
Right. But even they're limiting the numbers.
Yeah, because it's like our resources cannot cover
it.
how many. So just stop for a minute. Just give us
one.
Pause. Yeah.
Yes.
Pause. then when we're ready, we come back to it. And they've gone from having one to I think now they're at having 3. You're allowed to have 3 because their birth rates were going down. Another thing I learned, because first of all, I'm not a big reader or knower of important things. I know myself. I'll read what's interesting and what's funny or what's whatever, because there's so much negativity. So I just try to put it in my
I
head.
understand. I'm like that too.
I'd rather
Like I
just
just
stay,
don't.
I need my brain free.
Zen,
fresh.
just
Yes. So you learn all these things, and that's part of, for me, what, like talking to people, and then you hear personal experiences. That you're talking to someone like when they had like Zainab Balogun watch on the show, when she was talking about her experience, with periods, and these things affect women. Like your wife or girlfriend or a woman cannot come to the office because she's on her period. You hear people be like, it's not just period. Is it not just menstruation? It happens every month.
Absolutely.
No, it happens every month. She's in pain she can't describe. She has hormone flipping up and down. She thinks she's going mad because she can't explain what's going on in her body. So there's a lot going on, and that woman is now low on productivity because she can't give you 100% in the office. She can't give you 100% anywhere if she's going through that. So just cut her some slack, which is what I'm trying, we're trying to say, cut them some slack. So women are going through a lot. And I'm not saying men are not going through their own.
No, absolutely.
Even when we talked about, gender-based violence, it happens to men too, yes, we know. But the majority of these happenings is happening to women.
Exactly. Even M.I. sang about it in his song. He's like, look, we men have issues. We want people to hold us to win on this, but it's us. That's the majority of the people out here committing these crimes.
Yes, exactly.
So we have to own to that too. We have our own toxic masculinity that is actually a major issue.
So exactly. So these are things that I some of the things that I knew that touched me personally when just talking to guests that we had on the show. So it was really enlightening. I'm really glad that we came up with this series, and I feel like, at the end of the day, like you said, other mediums of disseminating information to people, let them know that there are ways, family planning clinics. I was like, so we talked about, we had Amaka Moma Haruna who talked about, I think it was a green, was it her? Or someone that talked about a green dot. It's like you go to a hospital, there's a green dot where that you know that's a family planning clinic. So you can easily just go there.
But why does it have to be underground?
And there are apps because we're still in a society that some things are on the hush. So even if we're living in a society that things are on the hush, there are some things we can be loud about without being loud about. So there are apps now that you can talk to, whether it be sexual health, and they can bring tests to you. You can, so you don't have to go out and see, because people
need this information.
Yes, so it's part of.
But what about the people that don't have access to apps? They're not in the big cities.
That's what people are boots on the ground. So we know about organizations that Haiti Health Initiative, as you know, do a lot of going out and speaking to people in schools in rural areas and just talking to them and talking to women. And some people, they're finding people who didn't know, thought they knew, and they're changing mindsets. And that's what we're talking about. That's the focus.
So these are part of the things that we're talking about as well, in terms of when we talk about the ecosystem of the media and entertainment industry, right? Like, technology is a major part of that. We're saying, okay, there's now apps, right, where people can get access. But then in the villages or in the rural areas, they don't have access because A, it's costly, B, there's maybe the tower, the communication tower is not close.
Their app is the person that is going.
Yeah, exactly. Their app is a human app. Boot on ground.
Yes, it's a
you understand what
person,
I'm saying?
Yes.
But even that human boot on ground needs some level
of information,
of technology, technology know-how, right? Yes. And so, how do we fund that kind of process? So it's like a thing where it's not just. So my point is, this work you're doing, this work we're doing, it's not even just for the general population, right? The masses. It's also for the corporations and private sector to get involved. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because unfortunately, our government does not have the capacity to do that. And we're hoping that will change, right?
We're hoping that will change. We believe that it will change, and I know it will change. I'm saying that I know that things will change.
We're saying it as an affirmation, right?
Yes.
We're going to be positive on this show.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We stay positive.
But you know what I mean? However, while that is not yet happening, we need
something has to be
movers and shakers in society. Right? We need private sector to get involved. They need to put their funding behind this, because guess what? They can fund, like you said, the education of the people going, the boots on ground, going to those places. Samsung can give a device to them that they can use to teach these people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. They can give them small free, all these, I don't know, whatever small. There are things they can do. I'm not the one, this is not the place. I'm not the one, I am the one. But this is not the place to have the detailed conversation around what these organizations can do. But there's funding, there's human capital development, you know what I mean? There's giving people access to information, there's supporting even people like you, right? The Facebooks, there's Instagrams, the Twitters. There's so much they can do to help elevate this conversation, to help elevate spreading this information and amplifying this stuff. It's not just us, because we just feel like doing stuff. It's not just the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's not just Worthy. It's not just Chioma Girl. Like it is literally all of us. Everybody. It is our responsibility. Because it's all about women are 50%, over 50% of the population, and you want to leave them, debilitated? How? So how women are literally the heartbeat backbone. And the backbone of society. Yes. We literally carry everybody on our, literally, not figuratively, literally the baby is born and every single piece of human being on this earth came through a woman, was nurtured by a woman. Not to say that the men are useless, of course they're not, they're absolutely 50% too. But like if we're not putting enough of our resources, right, to help build up the woman in all ways, not just one way, in all ways. You just said, we have menstruation. Look, I'm sorry, menstruation takes a whole month. Every single month, I only get 1 week break in a month where I'm like, free, I just can be me. Yeah. And no issues at all, no challenges, no hormone, no nothing. Just 1 week out of a whole month, every freaking month. And then but we can't talk about it. Or, just brave it, you're strong. Just be strong.
That's why you're a woman.
Exactly. You can multitask in pain as well as in brain, as well as in emotions. I mean, is it only me? Do you mean, like, I can't lie. Like, just in April, I had a little bit of a mental breakdown where I was like, what's the point? Just take the womb, but take everything. I don't want. Because what's the point? When am I going to catch a break? Do you understand what I'm saying? When am I going to just catch a break and just be free and live with no issues related to my... It's a lot.
We shall live. And that's what Worthy's been doing to make sure that most of us women and all, if possible everybody, but as many as they can reach, we have to all live our best lives. Absolutely. It's a saying, it's a cliche, whatever, but literally we're trying to live our best lives.
Yeah, it sounds cliche, but it's just because it repeats constantly, but you know, that's exactly what it is. So,
and I'm so glad to be a part of this vehicle that is rolling through the world and getting people on board and picking passengers.
Yeah, the helm of it. Yeah, the driver.
Where the conductor of the hello. Oh wow.
Yeah, the driver and the conductor.
And the conductor. But this one, there's no money, say free ride. I won't be collecting your change.
We'll collect your money.
So don't worry, please.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much for
my pleasure.
For everything. And
thank you.
It's been a peaceful, wonderful, amazing Her Matters series. Yes, from Worthy and everybody that's been on this journey. The Herbert Weaver Foundation, they gave us this space. I keep saying that. Beautiful space, and we're so grateful. Thank you so much. Hasty Health Initiative, you guys rock. Thank you for just everything that you have done. Yo, my name is Chioma Omera, aka Chego. First time I'm saying that on the show. And this is Her Matters. Peace out. Guys, thank you so much. This is the end of season 1 of Her Matters. Thank you so much to everyone, our principal partners, represented by Fifehan here today, but it's Worthy. Thank you so much to the Herbert Weaver Foundation for this beautiful space that we've been using. They've been so kind and so generous. Thank you to the Hasty Health Initiative for everything that you've done, the work we've done together, and that you did towards just the success of shooting this series. I want to say a huge thank you to the crew. Those are the ones that you guys don't see behind the cameras. our producer, director, scriptwriter, and co-creator of this, Mr. Bomai Remier. I want to say thank you to our sound guy, Mr. Henry. That's why you're hearing us clearly, because there's no guru that you're here. Mr. Henry, our production manager, Fumi, who's like behind the stage, making sure I'm following everything on the script. Sometimes she stops me like, you didn't ask question 4. I'm like, no, I'm not going to ask it. But she's very cooperative. Thanks to our intern, Mr. Victor. Yes, he's a young guy trying to be, but it's coming up, it's coming up. And even to the people they're not here, but the assistants, the wardrobe, the other assistants of the assistants, everybody that has been so just amazing on this show. I want to say thank you to my Samsung phones, because my phones are the bomb. Bless you. You guys will see something. So I will show you what the magic Samsung can do. I've not seen it yet, but you will see it soon. Okay? Okay. Thank you so much, guys. This has been Her Matters. We'll see you in season 2. Mwah. Thank you all so much for being a part of Her Matters. Thank you so. It's been such a fun ride. We'll see you in season 2. My name is Chima Omera, as usual, aka Shego.